All right, we are back with another great Matic Mondays. It's your guy Travel Matic, and we have
Tiffany Sports and Heels. Hey, everybody.
today
Disha?
our guest.
Yes, my name is Disha. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited.
All right, she's a little shy. She's gonna warm up. She's gonna warm up. We are here to talk about remote work, digital nomad, just working from your house, wherever you at in this world. But you can do it in this world if you have Wi-Fi. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to get a little deeper into what Disha's going through and doing and working and how she's working from a certain country. We're not going to disclose that just yet. She's going to tell us everything about it because this is the age we got to adapt. These companies have to adapt, these employers have to adapt, that we want to work remote. A nice change of pace, work-life balance. You can travel. You can, if you want to work beside the cabana at the pool in Tulum, you can do that. As long as you get your work done, hey, that's all they ask. That's all I'm trying to give you. So again, definitely like and subscribe to this video if this is your first time. And if you're back, we're going to get into it. You know how we do. We're going to have fun. And we're going to talk with Miss Disha. She's going to go into what she is getting into and how she got into remote work and just, a little bit of hobby. She also has a YouTube channel that I will link in the comments for you to subscribe. She has a great channel. That's actually how I found her, through another young lady. And so I said, well, I need to get her on because her path kind of is aligned to what my path is now that I'm trying to do. I saw she said, I sold all my stuff and I'm getting out of Vancouver. And I'm like, yeah, I got to work on selling some of this shit in here. Like, ain't bringing nothing new in here. I'm about to sell it. And I'm keeping it light. I'm keeping it like as if my plan right now is 2 years, 2024.
Okay.
To like I can work remotely certain places here and there for 7 days to 10 days or so. I have obligations to a daughter. So in 2 years she'll be graduating from high school, going to college. And when she go off to college, I'll be going off to the world.
It's a wrap.
Yeah, it's a wrap. I already told her, Daddy ain't gonna be here. Daddy come back and visit for your games and all that stuff, but he about to not even have only a PO box. That's all he gonna have here.
Facts.
And I'm gone, man. So let's get into Disha and let's go.
All right. So, what I'm doing right now is I work for a marketing company. I've been in my current role for the past almost 4 years now. So, 2018, I found this position where before the pandemic, I was basically in a different city every single day. So, there was a lot of movement required for my role. And the company I work for, we provide education to students and adults. So, what I'm doing right now with my current contract is drug and substance use and abuse education. So, it's a lot of fun, but it's also very important and very necessary. So, it feels very fulfilling. And basically, we go into high schools, we go to convention centers, we go to different events. When the pandemic hit, all of that came to a stop. And thankfully, they were able to figure out a way to have us up and running virtually. So now that the kids are pretty much like, I'm Canadian, by the way. So the students are not in schools right now. They were last semester, but pretty much since the pandemic hit, the kids were working from home. So, yeah, basically my role changed. It became virtual, which was absolutely not part of the plan. It had never been spoken about before the pandemic, and I pretty much just capitalized off that opportunity. Perfect. Working from home, just like you mentioned. If you have a good Wi-Fi, computer, I brought all my electronics with me and I pretty much packed up and I now live in Colombia.
Awesome.
And yeah, it's funny. Actually, you mentioned Tulum. That was my first option, my first pick,
Hmm.
because when the pandemic hit, all of my single friends took off, and the bulk of them are in Mexico. And they were like, "Girl, come to Tulum, come come to Tulum. Like we're working by the
Playa del Carmen.
beach, Playa. They're in Playa, absolutely, and Merida."
Hmm. Hmm.
I
Hmm.
actually didn't know anyone in Colombia at all, but I chose to kind of take a different path because one, I want to focus. Like, I still really need to have my heart and soul into my job. And I think Tulum is a little bit of a turn up.
Hmm.
So I didn't know if I could keep my focus going there.
That's really.
Not to mention, Mexico's expensive.
Yeah, that's what a lot of
You
people
think
don't
it's
mention.
well, it's funny you mentioned. I just told a friend of mine because they're creating a rail from Cancun to Tulum, and
Okay, very necessary.
yes, because you know that ride is like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours from on a bus car. I actually took the bus, which is actually not bad. For like
I
eight,
drove.
you drove.
Oh
Okay,
man.
I drove from Cancun Airport to Tulum, but carry on.
yes, and so that rail will. They're saying it's going to destroy Tulum, but it could. I mean, it's getting Tulum is not meant for the amount of attention that it's getting right now. They
Right.
try to keep that ecosystem marketing that they have, and you can't really be eco when you have thousands of people flocking there, partying, leaving stuff, trash, all
Yeah.
this stuff, and you know.
Right.
So yes, yeah, that's why I saw you went to Tulum. That's why I brought up Tulum or whatever. So, but
Okay.
you said also too in your video that the weather, like what, and I've been to both. I've been to Tulum and I've been to Medellin, where I'm not going to hold anybody. Now Medellin it does have some bomb weather. It rains a lot,
It
but
does.
that weather will have you sitting out on the porch like it's nice out here today. Like you
Yeah, just meditating and
on the balcony or whatever. It will have you out there all day, just sitting out there, just like what you doing? Just out on the porch. Like why you always out on the porch? Because it's just that nice outside. It is
yeah.
nice. It is nice.
And
Um,
then the rain in Mexico. Whew, when they get those tropical storms,
Yeah.
yeah, I
I've
didn't
been
want
there.
any part of that.
Yeah.
yeah, Tiffany, you've been to Tulum, right? Well, right?
Tulum and Riviera Maya. I stayed in Riviera Maya. I'm not a big hustle and bustle of Cancun type person. I think Cancun is way too crowded.
Right.
It's just, you know, it's just my personal opinion. Um, when I'm somewhere like Mexico, I like the more away from things it kind of appears, where you can kind of travel there to do those things, but
Right.
you're not staying in that environment. I live in the city, here where I live in Ohio, one of those walkable neighborhoods where you kind of go to dining and, your pharmacy, your farmer's market, your restaurants, your bars are all within walking distance. So when I travel and I'm traveling to a place where I'm relaxing, and doing some exploring, I like to be a little bit further away from, the metropolis. So, um, Riviera Maya kind of gives me that, where I can kind of do the things that you would do in Tulum, but then come back to the kind of exclusivity of Riviera Maya kind of tends to offer.
Yeah, yeah. I have a friend. It's funny you mentioned that the turn up. This guy I know in my little travel groups, he's partying like every day, and I still want. Actually, let me tell you how it happened. He went to kind of like how you were saying you started doing remote work like 2019, 2020.
Technically off and on, well, hybrid model 2015, more off 2017, and full time, remote 2018.
Okay, and you, Disha, you went. Oh,
I
she's
think
frozen.
dishes froze.
Yeah. She's gonna have to probably come back. Um, but yeah, over there, the guy worked remote from 20 all of 2019 to 2020. They told him to come back. He went back to the states,
Hmm.
and he loved it so much to where he had to come back. Like he just, I want to say he left his job. Like they've been partying so much down there.
They're in Mexico.
Yeah, Mexico. Playa de Carmen. He's in
Okay.
Playa de Carmen, and
So so it's interesting that you say that is because I think a lot of that is contributed to social media.
right, right, right.
Yeah. So showing the nightclubs and the nighttime atmosphere and what you can do has become the trend in social media. And so those people are making a lot of money by showcasing these places and showing where they're partying at. And most of the time they're partying for free because now they've linked up and able to show these establishment, look what I can do for your business.
It's funny you mentioned that too. I saw a girl who said she worked in Bali, Cancun, and Thailand, and she named the three reasons. Of course, one of the reasons was remote work.
Hmm.
The second one was your branding or whatever. And she said that she would promise. And somehow I'm like, I've been trying to do some branding too, as with certain hotels I've been at, whatever. And I've kind of touched the the top of that a little bit, but not as much as I wanted to. But she says she promised she guarantees certain things for. Let me bring Bisha back. All right, she's back.
Sorry
Well,
about that.
oh no, we talking it's cool. We were talking about how people use their platform or their brand to well, one of the main things was to work remotely, and that funds a lot of their trips. And what are other things that they can do to fund their trips other than remote work? And she mentioned branding is when I was saying that sometimes I do, but I haven't been as successful with it. I'll do videos on my channel for hotel I stayed, and I'll make like a shorter video, and then I'll put it on Instagram, tag them. They usually just give me a cool little repost, and then they're going about their business or whatever. But I haven't figured out that way to lock both of those in to say, get at the negotiating table and say, hey, can I? I usually just put it out there just to kind of create a portfolio of stuff that people repost or whatever. But yes, Tiffany, I know wanted to talk. One of the main things she wanted to talk about was safety as a single African American woman. So I know she's ready to take on this and ask you tons of questions, and I'll step out and be, fly on the wall because I go as I please, but I still keep my head on the swivel. But so go ahead, Tiff.
Yeah, so one of the things when I decided that I've always been a female solo traveler domestically here in the US. But when I began to think about international travel, the first place I went was YouTube University, right? To look at,
Absolutely.
once I picked my location, which I decided Cuba was going to be my first solo adventure, I needed to know what Cuba was like for solo travelers. So you do a Google search or a search on YouTube, and you immediately get bombarded with, single white men or single black men who are traveling to Cuba, which is great that you have, that platform. But there wasn't a lot of people of color, women of color. And so it raised certain questions like, what do I do that would be different than what I do in the US, or what would be the same that I do here in the US when I'm traveling solo internationally? So you having you know, moved to Colombia. And traditionally, here in the U.S., when you mention Colombia, it has negative connotations. We've got movies that talk about the cartel and, a number of things, and so we don't get to know about how safe it is to be there. So, what are some of the things that you do to, one, make sure that you're safe when you're traveling? Two, safe where you're living. So, how did you choose where you're going to live in Medellin? And how did you choose Medellin, over some places in Mexico? And then three, what have you learned previously to keep yourself safe that you found
Mm,
wasn't really effective, but you found something else maybe that might have replaced it?
okay, those are all good questions. So first off, it's really interesting because I never thought I would end up in Colombia. Just like you, anytime someone would mention Colombia, Medellin, you think of Netflix and just like destruction, and definitely not somewhere I would consider myself safe. And YouTube was the biggest, I guess, eye-opening experience for me, just hearing about other people's experiences. And then from YouTube, I was guided to joining some Facebook groups. So the number one that I joined, which I don't know, I heard they're moving from Facebook, so I don't know how much longer they're going to be accepting new members, but it's called Blacksit.
Oh,
So
okay.
like Black people exit, and it's mostly Americans. Blacksit Global, I believe, is the name of it. And I basically just got in that group and started asking people, or using the search bar and hitting Colombia or Medellin, and realizing that there are so many people who took that first step of like just, uncertainty, took the chance, went to Colombia, had an amazing experience, and came back to share their tale. And they all looked just like us, young Black women, usually solo travelers. Out here in Medellin, there's no real like resorts or anything like that. So when you're coming here, you know, the tourist areas are so small. You take two left turns and you're in a very local area. So it's not like somewhere like Jamaica where you could go to Jamaica and not even meet
Locals, yeah.
another authentic Jamaican person, right? So I really just needed to hear from someone else that it was going to be okay. When I was doing my research as to what city in Colombia, sorry, Medellin popped up immediately because of the cost of living, super low, compared with Canadian American dollar. I'm sure the people here have their own struggles, but our money goes a very long way here. The
Mm.
weather we spoke about, and then once again, a lot of those single Black female travelers were going to Medellin.
Wow.
And then I think something that really stuck out to me is the fact that there are so many different, we call them barrios, which are neighborhoods. So the number one most popular location where a lot of the people come to is called El Poblado. I chose not to live in that area because where you have a concentration of tourists, that a lot of them are coming here for the wrong reasons. I mean, the right reasons for them, but not for me. I wanted a lifestyle, not a vacation. So people are coming here to turn up, party,
Yeah.
do whatever. And so a lot of that happens in that area, which means if there's going to be theft, um,
Mhm.
Yeah.
whatever crime,
Yeah.
it's going to be concentrated in that area. So I started doing some research and realizing that I have to kind of immerse myself in with the locals, And so the number one thing to keep myself safe being outside of a tourist area was I needed to pick up some of the language. That was absolutely the biggest thing for me. Picking up the language, definitely being able to communicate. And then what I did when I first got here is I did a lot of walking. We have Uber, Didi, so many different driving services out here. But the problem with using those when you first get here is you're not really watching to see your entire environment, right? You're kind of just letting the driver,
Hmm.
you
Yeah.
know,
Navigate you.
move
Yeah.
you, navigate you. That's right. So I just put my backpack on. The mask helps a lot. I think a lot of people, if they can't really see my facial structure, they just see, like braids, very regular dressed person. A lot of people have mistaken me for Afro Latina, Afro
Hmm.
Colombiana.
I was going to say that you can go
Yeah.
for Afro Latina.
Yeah, definitely.
I did not expect that, but the amount of people that come up to me, they're like, "Hola, cómo vas?" And I'm just like, "Oh, snap. You think oh, okay."
You look
And
definitely like you could be from Cali or
Yeah.
Cartagena.
yes, yes, I've heard that so many times. Matter of fact, right before this started, I took a walk up the street to get a smoothie. And, I've got the mask on, and the lady said, Chica, tu novia eres de Amazonas. Like, you have a boyfriend, he's from the Amazon, right? And I'm like, no. So I'm like, oh, you're mistaking me with these people. This is amazing. So, one, I don't stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
That helped me so much. The fact that I picked up a little bit of their language helped me even more. And the fact that I wasn't scared initially to go down the neighborhoods, I was doing like just S's, swivels. Okay, there's a church here. Perfect. This is Avenida 33. Perfect. Metro. Got myself a Metro card. Got on that Metro during the day so that whenever the sun went down, I knew where I was. I recognized so many different landmarks, which within my first 2 weeks of being here, that I felt like I was at home.
Hmm.
It
That's awesome.
definitely felt like I was at home. So I think that just kind of familiarizing yourself with different areas is probably the biggest key component to feeling safe,
Yeah.
I never want to be anywhere in Colombia at night or alone where it's unfamiliar. I want to be able to say, yeah, I remember I was here on Tuesday morning, 2 streets up, I'll be fine. There's a convenience store.
Good.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. And then, of course, just using the language skills to communicate with people. The people in Colombia are some of the nicest people I have ever encountered. And mind you, this is my first time in South America. So maybe everyone is this nice, but I did not expect it at all. If you can communicate, you can walk up to somebody's abuela and ask them to use their phone, ask them for directions, tell them that you need help or someone's following you, or you just don't feel safe. When I tell you, they will bring you into their home and offer you a meal, a drink, have you sit down. I don't know. The people are so nice here.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. You hit a lot of great things. I heard you mention Vancouver is similar to
Medellin.
Medellin.
Hmm.
Medellin, which I didn't expect at all. So the reason why I say it's very similar is one, first of all, the environment. Okay, so um, Vancouver is a very rainforest terrain, so
Hmm.
it rains like 300 days of the year on average.
Oh, good.
And
Wow.
yeah,
Very depressing.
so yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a huge, huge thing about Vancouver, but it's so beautiful and the nature is so vast. You're surrounded by mountains, the air is fresh,
Mm,
you're never too far away from a body of water. And then if you travel just a little bit into the outskirts, there's so much wildlife. So in Medellin, same idea,
mhm.
surrounded by mountains. It's a city built in the middle of literally like
Oh,
jungle.
mm.
Wow.
Yeah, and I got here in October. It's been raining I can probably tell you've had like definitely less than a month of sunny days
Oh,
since October.
so it's not that big of a difference for you. You're like, oh, this is just like, oh,
No, that's
everyone,
right.
everyone's complaining and oh, this rain. And you're like, oh,
I think it may be the rainy season though in Medellin
It,
right now.
that's right. I'm really looking forward to watching it transition.
Yeah.
But right now it's feeling really Vancouver-like.
not
And
as
then
cold, right?
not as cold, but the great thing about Vancouver is it doesn't really drop to below like less than -10. So
Oh,
it's
I
still
knew you were gonna say something like that.
I know.
Oh,
Listen.
oh, because yeah.
It's 17 degrees in Ohio where I am, right? And when I say I'm on the struggle bus with staying warm, I am definitely on the struggle bus. So the -10 is warm to you. I don't know.
-10 is beautiful. I'm very Canadian, you guys. Like
I see.
so Canadian. This would be perfect hiking weather. Like I'd be out in the mountains, definitely.
No, we need to switch.
Yeah, come on over. And
Okay.
then the metro system, like the infrastructure, definitely reminds me of
So,
Vancouver as well. Like the train doesn't go below ground. It's kind of like a monorail, which is the
Oh,
same thing in Vancouver.
okay.
Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah, it's just
You picked the perfect place for you then.
oddly enough. So there's something I tell people, it's like I think I found exactly what I wasn't looking for, if that makes any sense,
Yeah.
or what I didn't know I was looking for.
Yeah.
right, right. Because I kind of got confused on your path, or maybe it was just that you worked remote. You was kind of communicating from different areas of Vancouver because you have Montreal somewhere in there, which I love Montreal. I went to, and I think that's why I told you when I first met you that I went to the Montreal Jazz Festival, and it was a culture shock for me in Montreal because like everybody speaks French, and I'm like, I didn't know everybody speaks French, and I would go into establishment, and I'm just a newbie, and I want to take part in the culture. And bonjour, and the lady be like, bonjour, and I'd be like, oh, I don't, and I said, you know what, I need to stop that because I don't know anything other than bonjour, oui, oui, and all that stuff. So I
Comme
said, let
ci,
me
comme
stop taking.
ça.
So where does Montreal fit in your background?
So that's where I grew up as a child in Montreal. So French is actually my first language. And
Oh, cool.
yeah, like the bulk majority of my life, I spent kind of moving around to different cities.
Hmm.
And I ended up leaving Montreal when I was just after, I'm going to say like 11 years old is when I moved to Ontario, and I lived really close to Toronto, between Toronto and Niagara Falls. And then
Okay.
once I became old enough to move out of my family home is when I ventured off away from my family and moved to Vancouver. So I've kind of
Yeah. Gradually
bounced
been that
around.
one.
Yeah, you definitely just moved across like Niagara Falls, Toronto, Montreal is kind of was Quebec, right? And
Yeah, Quebec City.
then as you go more west, then it's Vancouver,
That's
right?
right. As
Okay.
far west as you can go.
Right. Okay. Right. Awesome.
Yeah.
So
That is
can you take us through your all right family? I know I'm living in Vancouver, and you guys are, used to me living away from you. So I'm going from Canada, which is in North America, and I'm moving to South America in like 90 days. And I've sold all my stuff and I'm going. Like, I'm going.
So it wasn't even that big of a shock. I was scared to tell everyone. I really was. But they all acted like, yeah, okay. This is not this is not new for you, D. Like we're not surprised. Like yes, they were shocked that I was picking the country I was picking. I think they thought maybe I would go to Mexico because I had friends going there. But everyone took it very, very well. And I feel like my path the last 3 years, everything that has happened to me, negative and positive, was kind of building up to this moment of moving out of the country. And I'll explain what I mean by that. So we mentioned about selling belongings. So in 2018, when I was in Vancouver, I I was in between places and thought instead of renting a hotel, oh my God, this is going to sound super crazy, but instead of renting a hotel for 3 days until my new apartment's available, I'm just going to go to Vegas for the weekend.
You're my kind of girl.
She just left Vegas.
I just left Vegas.
Okay. Oh, Vegas is so much fun. Wow, I've never been this time of the year. I would love to experience that.
No, it's cold. But wait,
It's
no, I forgot who I'm talking to. It's not cold for you. It's like
I'd
beach
still be
weather.
in shorts.
She be the ones out there with the you said the gowns you saw and the
Yeah, they
heels.
had on spaghetti strap gowns, but I went for New Year's Eve, so they had spaghetti strap gowns and open toe shoes and no jacket, no coat, and it was 20 degrees.
They're probably Canadians. Yeah. That's amazing. That would definitely be me. So I left all of my belongings in the back of my vehicle, in my trunk. I just like stuffed my car. I had my car parked on a what I thought was a very quiet street. Went to Vegas, came back, and I got robbed. Yeah.
Rob,
And
where in Vegas or
Wherever she left her car.
someone went into my vehicle and took everything. Everything. And that just like broke my heart. But it also, like I said, it built up for this moment now. I didn't know at the time, but I became a minimalist pretty much right away. Didn't know what that lifestyle was about, but I knew there was no way I could afford to replace. I had purses, bags, watches. I spent so much money on all of these things that, you know, these
Weren't
material
important.
items that are now gone, all this hard-earned money. And something I went and did, I went and bought like two of everything, two pair of pants, two shirts, socks, shoes, and I lived out of a very small bag. And so I think that opened the door for me to be able to bounce and go wherever I want to go without feeling like I have so much baggage.
mm-hmm.
So when it came time
Wow.
to go to South America, I only had whatever I left in my mom's basement. And the only reason I even chose to sell those things is because I wanted to make sure I was very financially stable just in case anything was to happen with my employment.
Okay, so you
Wow.
So,
started
yeah,
saving up stuff. You started saving up and
I did. Yes. I only really made up my mind that I was leaving around August. So I had September and, well, September. I was already gone by October. But yeah, selling my vehicle really helped put some money together for me. And yeah,
So, did you pick when you decided to make the move and you made the move, did you pick an Airbnb to stay in for a few months or did you immediately stay in a hotel? How did you decide you talked a little bit about what area you wanted to live in, but how did you pick your actual residence?
okay, that's a good question. So it was pretty much trial and error. I picked an Airbnb
Mhm.
and I pretty much just went with the cheapest one that I found, which was a room and a bathroom in a large home. And I chose to do that because I wanted to get to know whoever else was going to be in that home, which worked out very nicely for me. So it was an older woman and her husband, and they took me out every day, showed me where to go to the bank. And I understand my experience is a little different. Not everyone is going to have
Yeah,
that great
kind of interaction.
opportunity.
Yeah.
That's right. So I feel super blessed that I had that. They gave me so much confidence, and yeah, they just helped to show me that, you know, there's nothing to be afraid of living in Medellin. And then from there, I was like, hey, so I love y'all. Thank you so much for opening your homes to me for I stayed there for 10 days, but I knew right away this was not the neighborhood I wanted to live in. Remember, I chose the cheapest spot, so I was
Right.
in Centro, right
Yeah.
smack downtown. Yeah, yeah, right, right. As soon as
wow,
you walk outside, there's peddlers and
prostitutes.
homeless and prostitutas and Everyone's telling you no dar papaya, hold your phone, hide your wallet.
Yes.
Um, the traffic, the movement, hectic.
Yeah, Central is busy, busy. It's
Oh,
it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a lot.
Yeah, that was an experience for sure. That was an
Yeah,
experience.
you jumped right into the belly of the beast right there. So you
I
didn't know Central
did.
was the way Central is. You didn't know it was like
No.
okay.
Oh no, no,
So
I
when you
hadn't
went to
seen.
Colombia, that was your first time even being in Colombia. You didn't visit prior, like, oh, this would be a great place to. You just kind of like, I'm going to Colombia, and this is where I'm going.
Brought my bags with me, like I live here.
That's awesome, though. That's awesome.
It's
So
a
how did you
little,
pick the
it's a little
next
crazy.
location? I mean,
So that's when I started walking, exploring, meeting other people. And I went to El Poblado because that's where you ask anybody in the Facebook groups. I joined the Medellin expats and then expats of Colombia and then Black expats of Colombia. And everyone will just tell you, like, oh, El Poblado, like that's where you'll find the English speaking people and whatever. And I went and I was like, oh no,
Yeah,
no, no, no. This
see,
is gringa for sure.
yes. And the reason why they'll tell you, you gave a good explanation in the beginning about the robbery. You're more of a target because all of the foreigners
Right.
are there. All the gringos, all the extracanjos are there. But I see it a little different. I see it like how you see it, and I prefer it that way. I don't want to move from Canada or the U.S. to be with U.S. people. I can just stay in freaking U.S.
yeah,
You
I'm
know?
with you guys on that.
Facts.
It's okay to
Yeah.
just
Go to
go
the
and
tourist area, but not live in the tourist
yes,
area.
and
No.
just visit with
No.
expats and the expat meetups there in Poblado. I go and check y'all out, but I'm not
Yeah.
going to.
Yeah, I'm going to where I stay. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And like, I realize I'm hearing English everywhere, everywhere. And I'm like, wait a minute. How am I ever going to pick up the language if I'm not going to be exposed to it? So from there, I found out about Laureles, which I knew previously from watching some YouTube videos, but I didn't know enough. So I took an Uber, went to Laureles, and once again, I started doing the zigzags. And I fell in love immediately. I knew like this is 100% the neighborhood I want to be associated with. It's hard to explain, but I guess it's a more quiet area. There's still tons of grocery stores, shops, restaurants everywhere. It's still pretty crowded, a little cleaner,
Mhm.
but I guess it's that perfect mix of expats and locals, whereas Poblado is like tourists and locals. These are people who have situated themselves.
Yeah.
And so, it just, I don't
They
know, but
treat it
it
like
had a
home. They
different
treat it like home.
abs.
Tourists don't treat places like home. They treat it as disposable. And when
Yes,
you're in a
and
place
that's the
where it's more
vibe.
like home, they take care of their neighborhood. They're more apt to talk. They're more friendly, to show you
Yes.
things. And yeah, it's more of a you can build friendships in that neighborhood where you are versus the other one.
Yes, that's exactly it. And then I guess because of the time of the year that I had got to Colombia, finding a place in Laureles was so difficult. So I decided to go even further out where I ended up in an area called Calazans, which is between Robero, Bello, and like if you're familiar with the Comuna Trece area. So
Mhm.
it's a very close to there, which is like, oh my God, so scary. Don't go. No way. My number one favorite neighborhood, and that's where I ended up getting my apartment, which basically I found it on Airbnb. I messaged the host privately, told him, hey, listen, I'm new to Colombia. Turns out his English was pretty decent. And he met up with me like within a couple of days, gave me a tour of the spot, and was like, I'll rent to you monthly, no problem. And I got a very decent spot for like $500, and I could walk to Loud Ellis from where I was.
Wow,
Okay.
that's awesome.
Is that the video that you have on your channel?
Yeah, so I gave a my apartment tour.
Yes. If
Yeah.
you don't mind, I would like to share that with Tiffany and the viewers.
I would love to see it.
Absolutely. Yeah, no problem. I was very, very proud of that place. I've left there as of January 1st because, surprise, surprise, I'm moving tomorrow. I think I already mentioned it, but
Hold up. Pause for a minute. We're gonna talk about when you about to move. I know you about to move. Give me a minute here. Let me get this up because
Yeah, let me see the old place before you shock us with the new place.
okay.
we're gonna talk about them stories I commented on when you went to
Yeah.
some place and I said, "Ooh, they're gonna eat you up." But
Yeah.
here you go. Yes.
Oh,
You can see it, right?
Yep, we can see it.
yeah.
Small, but kind of updated. Cupboards came pretty stocked, and like tons of appliances, stuff that I didn't even bother to use. Just having access to so many like fresh fruits and vegetables has like motivated me to cook more often. I have a cleaning station, a washer, and then like a drying rack for the balcony.
That's amazing.
So I was cooking a little bit. Fridge is like super small, but perfect for one person. Don't mind my recycling. I've actually been living here for about a month, so it's kind of messy. And as you can see, I'm packing because I'm heading up to the coast, Cartagena. There's so much like shelving in there, more closet space in here, hangers, a workstation. Oh, what can you see me?
The
Snacks. This is where I would spend most of my mornings working.
You hear the dog?
Bed, super
Yeah.
comfortable. This is like the other part of the kitchen area. Bathroom was pretty small,
It's
but
very
nice and
modern,
clean.
much more
Had
modern,
everything
I
I
think, than
needed.
people would realize when it comes
And of
to
course, the biggest
Big.
South
selling point of
America.
this apartment is the view from the balcony. As you can see, the sun is out today, so I took advantage of an opportunity to do some
Look
laundry.
at
Oh,
that.
that
This view
view.
is
Oh
amazing.
my
It never gets old.
goodness.
So if you're looking at Comuna 13 in that area there,
500.
the metro station, which is a 6-minute walk.
5
Yo.
Laureles in the distance there. El Poblado, far off in the hills. And then we have Centro. You can see there's the stadium, the football
Look
stadium,
at those
soccer,
mountains in the back. I mean, it's
and
like the
Oh,
perfect
Centro
view. You've got
International.
the city,
This
the
neighborhood is called
mountains in the
Oceans.
background.
Overall, it's like really quiet, but I mean, like it's quiet. You don't hear the traffic as much, but every now and then you'll hear people on speakerphones, and all you have to do is close the glass, and you can pull those drapes down, and it's so quiet. Don't think you can hear the fan.
That's
Like this is
awesome.
just probably the most peaceful accommodations I've ever had.
That's awesome. Oh my
And
the
goodness.
view at night.
nothing
Oh,
compares to this view at night.
wow.
Just so peaceful.
The queen sitting up high.
Oh.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. I love that. So you traded all
Man.
that in
Now see,
and
now that it hurts. I'm like, wow, look at
Tell them
what I
where
have.
you going. Tell them where you going.
So I fell in love with Cartagena. I really did. I
as
really
you should.
did.
As you should.
Why did you fall in love with Cartagena?
So, oh my goodness, I talked so much smack about Cartagena. The first day I got there, I got ripped off twice. It was too hot. The people spoke a little different than the paisas, and I wanted to leave right away. I called my mom. I was like, I would never stay here. Like, this place is disgusting. The people suck. And then by day 4, I was already looking at places like, oh my God, this is so nice. Like, yeah,
That is Cartagena in a nutshell, right there.
right? It just stole my heart. Like, so what I envisioned, I understand that Medellin is the city of eternal spring, but I didn't know, I wasn't prepared for how much it was going to rain here. I work, I start like sometimes like 7:30 in the morning till 4:30 p.m. So by the time I'm done, the rain is in, and like sometimes I'm stuck at home all day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, like I'm in this beautiful country and I don't want to go outside because it's like torrential downpour. So I'm like, I'm just gonna give myself a little bit of a break. I'm not leaving Medellin. I'm coming right back. This is an
You need,
extended break.
you need to try Bogota as well and Cali.
So I've heard, and the goal is to do a full tour of this country as soon as I
Okay,
can.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
I
Because I got
have
a
to.
friend. I'm sorry, I got a friend that he loved Medellin. He been to That's the only thing he really went. He did Cartagena. He had the same experience, and I said, I get it. I'm a Cartagena guy because I love the brown skin. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
But that heat and them vendors, I'm telling you, I have many times about to square up with them dudes. I'm talking about like full, like I done position my feet and I got my stance ready. Like I'm ready to go to blows because
they make you want to fight.
they are that aggressive there. And I try to tell Tiffany about it. Like,
Yeah, so that's what prompted my my question about staying safe, because I'm like Adrian, I'm a female, I'm not a male. So I will square up. Like if I tell you to leave me alone, leave me
Yeah,
alone. So
yeah.
how did you pick Cartagena? I understand getting
So,
away from the rain.
so I think what helped me a little bit, once again, is just that language. Being able to show them, like, oh, wait a minute, maybe she's not that typical tourist, because I don't consider myself a tourist, but they don't know that, right?
Hmm.
So, because it's a cruise ship city, they don't know if you're just here for the day. They're trying to get everything out of your pocket. So, when I turn around, I'm like, you know, ya dije no, or ya tengo, or, just tell them like, yo, I already have it and I already said no. I think that kind of shocks them a little bit. So once I broke out of my shell and not being so shy to use the little Spanish that I do know,
Hmm.
I think that my experience changed for the better.
Okay.
Like just being able to tell them back the F off. They still try to follow me, but not as aggressively, more like Chica Morena, where are you from? Like their favorite word is lady.
I'm telling you,
Lady.
they will follow you. Like you tell them no, and like they be like, all right, and then you will walk, and you're like, are you following me? Oh no. Dude, what's the change? When I met you, you was coming this way.
Okay, so
So,
what's the with the U-turn? Yeah.
yeah.
So I think just that confidence of, listen, I get it. They're just hustling. They're just doing what they got to do. They really should probably go find a job and not being out here trying to sell these sunglasses that nobody wants. But
Right.
just, I guess, respecting that hustle and understanding that they see you as a walking dollar sign, and you just got to continuously let them know, don't have it.
Yes. They especially. I mean, you get that a lot in Latin countries. They
Right.
see Americans as ATM. So um,
Right.
you just try to do your best by blending in. Like I tell Tiffany, I wear my shades when I'm out because I keep walking. If they can't see that eye contact, more than likely that's natural. People just they don't see me or whatever. Put the
Yeah.
headphone, like Tiffany was saying, just
Yeah.
keep it walking and just
Keep walking.
because
That's
see
what the locals will tell you.
because the
Ignore.
thing too with Cartagena, why I think it's good for like a short stay because Cartagena is not that big. It's only the
Right.
Centro and the clock tower, as you call it, and it's Boca Grande, um, 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 Boca Grande area, pretty much just a
Yeah.
little small areas in there too. Um, but that's all you have. But you can get great stays with views as beautiful as the one you just had in your other apartment
Right.
for $50 a day, $40 a day, or something like that.
Right.
You get cheaper than that too. We may not have the views, but that's one of the benefits though. So best of
Yeah, for sure.
So
luck.
did you pick a place in Cartagena that has an amazing view like Medellin, or?
Unfortunately, the cost of living is a little higher there, and I
Mhm.
cannot wait to make my comparison video because it's going to be pretty shocking.
Okay.
So I wanted to stay within that $500 price range, but I thought it was so important to have an upgraded appliances and an upgraded bathroom. I wasn't going to settle for anything less than that. So for my price range, I am in Manga, which is just outside of Hitsimani,
Yeah,
between
right.
Centro and like the core of Cartagena, where nobody, like the tourists don't really go to,
Right.
which I might have to take a day and go check that area out once I get more comfortable. But yeah, for my price range, unfortunately, I was only able to find a ground level apartment, and I'll be renting for the next 60 days.
60 days. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tiff.
Oh no, I was saying okay. That's cool.
Yeah, that brings a great thought that I had. For its time, usually you're gonna get you've already approached your 90 days. You got the extension.
Right. With the new year, I've got
Oh,
another.
Oh, very smart.
okay.
Very smart. Yeah. So
Oh, it's
It
October.
perfect.
just worked out that way.
So people, you hear this? Go in October if you're going to move internationally. Go in October and check and see if the country that you're moving to, if it resets at the beginning of the new year.
Okay,
Right.
Yeah.
nice, nice. So you get
So
another.
I'm really, yeah, I've got another 180.
Mm-hmm.
So
Cool, cool.
if I can stay till June, that's amazing. But I think right now, the way things stand, I'm going to utilize my 3 months here. And then if I can't get anything more than 180, I'll be leaving and saving the other 3 months for a little bit later in the year.
Hmm.
But the goal is to try to find a way to stay here without having to exit and return.
Right.
Right. See, that's what I was going to ask too. You are, I think, because you're already there on a visa. It has to go the same process, regardless if it's a new calendar year, and you're going to try and reapply, which you still have those other 90 days to come back if you want to, and still use that. Or
That's
actually, another
right.
180. I'm sorry, another 180.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah,
And
let me know how that works out for you.
yeah, absolutely. And the way it works, like my work contracts go in 3 month segments. So
Mm-hmm.
I have income for the next 3 months. We
Nice.
don't know what after April has in store.
Right.
So for me to really sign like a 1 year anything and not knowing where that money's coming from after April is not the smartest thing. So um,
So
yeah.
do you have any like contingency plan? Because I nobody don't want to go back home. I know you don't want to go
Right.
back. Like, what are you doing to set yourself up for the future? Like, do more YouTube videos, invest. Also, you can do teaching, not teaching. You can teach actually. You
Yeah,
do
because you know
TEFL,
French and English.
you teach online,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
can learn English and get a student visa for 2 years, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah. That's
So,
right. So I'm looking at doing all of the above, to be honest.
okay.
All of the above. I'll do anything. I won't say anything, but I'm whatever it's going to take to stay here comfortably and legally. I'm ready to do that. Looking into um, learning English. The problem with that is my work hours. So we'll see what happens. But there's something I want to throw out there. So I just found out about this thing called Workaway. I don't know if you've ever heard of this. So there's Workaway and World Packers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great way for, nomads and solo travelers not to finance their travels, but to supplement their travels. So you
Oh.
exchange services in exchange for a place to stay, accommodations, and usually meals. So
Hmm.
what I've done is I've looked up workaways for Colombia, and then who knows what next this year has in store. I've looked at Dominican, I've looked at Brazil. I'm I'm ready to go anywhere, but I've looked at staying in a school, helping kids, and they offer you either a dorm or a private bedroom with a bathroom in exchange for 20 hours a week.
Wow.
Right.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna tell you about something. But you said work away and what
Work
else?
World Packers.
World Packers. Okay.
Yeah, they
Uh,
both are subscription based, but if you get even just one, it pays for itself.
my friend who lives in Santa Marta,
Okay.
that's another place too. Which, if I had to move to Colombia right now, best case scenario, it probably would be Santa Marta. I
Really?
loved it that much. It's a mixture of
Wow.
Cartagena and Medellin.
Oh, don't tell me that.
Yes, they have a place called Parque de los Novios, which is kind of like Parque Lleras, and
Okay.
it has that Parque Lleras feel, but then it has like shops and restaurants where you can eat out on the street, and it's about a 5 block area, little performances. Nice, nice. And then what I said, the Cartagena, it has like that Spanish feel,
Right.
the architecture and the homes and the colonial homes.
Which I
But then,
love.
and they have like these cool beaches, but then they have like this hostel scene, which I'm going to now. Um, if you work like 20 hours in these hostels, you can stay for free in the hostels or whatever. I don't know if hostels are a thing,
Oh.
but yeah, she told me about that, and I was like, "That's
Hmm.
I'm writing that down."
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's dope.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's tough.
and
A
I
free
like
place to
that
stay.
hostel, talking and meeting new people and all that stuff. But yeah, it's a big hostel community in Santa Marta.
Good
So
to know.
I'll send you her profile on Instagram, and
Please do.
yeah, I'm trying to get her on the show as well too and talk about that because she works in a lot of these hostels and she's native Santa Marta. So
Okay.
I was trying to meet her when I was there this past July, but we couldn't meet up. But definitely gonna have her on. But she put me on game on a lot of that stuff, and I'm like, you can stay for free. She's like, yeah, you just work like 15, 20 hours a week, and that pays for your stay in the hostel or whatever. So
Wow.
Wow.
yeah, meals and all that stuff included. So
That's invaluable.
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
So I have a
Um,
question. I know
yeah,
time is running short, but this is all the ladies are going to want to know this when it comes to solo travel, and then when moving. How's dating in Colombia? Have you
Oh
put your
my
dating on
gosh.
pause, or are you entertaining dating? And what's different between dating in Canada and then dating in Colombia?
I'm glad you brought it up. I was trying to get there, but I didn't know if I was doing too much of her business.
Oh my God. I'm so happy this question came up. So I'm going to be doing a video on this because it's been popping up under my YouTube in the comments lately. Um, woo, this is a good one. So I've been single since 2015. I'm very proud to say that. I spent a lot of years working on myself. I've always been a relationship girl. So I wasn't dating in Canada like at all. The last time I'd been to a movies with a guy had been years. And when I came here, I wasn't really open to dating either because I like black men. And I don't want to date another expat because you just never know when they're going to be leaving or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, whatever, I'm going to be single forever or whatever. But I'm in a relationship right now.
Wait. Is
What?
Cartagena? Did Cartagena bring you
Hold
to
up, hold up.
Cartagena?
That's why she's on the Cartagena.
Cartagena brought you to Cartagena?
That's why she's going to Cartagena.
I just grew to like it
Did
a
it just
whole
get really
lot.
hot? It just got really hot.
I
Oh my
just
uh,
really
gosh.
liked it. I could never live here.
uh, that's why she got somebody to fight them vendors off her.
Hey, right.
Oh my God.
It happens to the best of us, girl. It happens to the best of us.
Wow.
Wow. So numbers that I found what I didn't know I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I found that in my love life also. Oh my God, it's so crazy. I can't believe these words are coming out of my mouth. But yeah, I'm dating a costeño.
What's a
Um,
costeño?
so somebody from Cartagena, a man. So
Cartagena,
costeña.
Santa Marta, the whole coast.
Yeah, the coast.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right. Because I think from Cartagena is like Carta Negra,
There's
Carta.
Cartagena, Barranquilla, and then there's Santa Marta, are the major cities along that coast.
Right. And then the people in Medellin, they call them paisas.
Hmm.
So I'm dating a costeño, literally the nicest guy I've ever met. We're only about a month into
He's
dating right
English.
now, but he does. His English is so good.
Wow. Okay.
So good, yeah. And I think we meshed very well. And that was a very big deciding factor as to why I wanted to go to Cartagena as well. I want to spend more time with him and see where this is going.
Hmm.
Because I didn't know if we had a really good fighting chance, me being in Medellin and us being so like new.
Yeah.
He also works a lot. So him coming to Medellin was not very realistic.
You
Yeah.
came to
Whereas I
that.
can just pick up my laptop and
Be anywhere.
relocate. Right. Right. So, like
Ah.
I
Build
said,
build the
Cartagena
life
is
you want.
not forever. I'm trying because um like I said, I didn't date. Haven't dated in so long. I think a lot of I'm a little older. I don't know if we didn't really get into that, but I'm in my I'm gonna be in my mid 30s real soon.
What? I thought you were like in
What?
your mid 20s, like 25, 24, 25,
I told her
26.
she was. I said she like young 20s or something like that, mid 20s. But
That's right. Actually, wait, sorry, pardon? Yeah, so
wow, girl,
loving
you
my
done lived a
20s.
little bit. Okay. Okay.
So I think a lot of the men that I met, oh, Vancouver was a joke.
Yeah.
Absolute joke. I feel like I was like fetishized because there weren't a lot of black women.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, dating was just not an option for me. While I was in Ontario, I feel like everybody's so caught up on the materialistic things, and I've moved past that, you know?
Mhm.
And it was so hard finding someone that was mature. I've tried guys all the way up to 50 that are older, don't want or children are grown up and looking for someone younger but more mature. And I haven't found what I thought worked for me. And then here I am. I'm in Cartagena literally for 10 days, not even a full 2 weeks, and literally found who I think is like the perfect person for me. And I hope he feels the same way. And I can say this because I'm pretty sure he's never going to see
Where did
this.
you meet him?
I met him in Hetsamani.
Okay.
In
Okay.
Hetsamani, yeah, he's a business owner. So I just happened to be inside of his business.
What?
And yeah, he
Whatever
approached me
will
and
work do for
I
you.
was like, ugh,
Thank God.
not interested in Colombians, excuse me. And then I took a second look and I was like, oh shoot, he is fine. I asked him that night, I asked him like 3 times, are you Colombian? He's like, yes. I'm like, are you sure? Yeah,
Wow.
because he's got dark skin and he's awesome. He's an awesome person and he makes me feel really secure. So yeah, we'll see what next month has in store. Sorry, this month.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you've only got one life to live, so it sounds
Right.
to me like you're maximizing your time and your
I'm trying
opportunities.
to.
And we only get one life, even if it doesn't work out, or if it does, you only know until you try it. So,
Yeah,
just like your
yeah,
move, you didn't know if Colombia was going to be the place for you, and
that's
you're
right.
discovering more about the country, but you're also discovering more about yourself and what you deserve throughout this whole entire
Big time.
process. So,
Big
yeah, I'm
time.
happy to hear that you're opening yourself up to the possibility of love with someone you never thought you knew you'd have love with. So that's a huge thing, and I hope that encourages others who are watching to kind of step out on faith and allow experiences, and not don't allow experience what you don't know about what might happen to curtail you from experiencing something.
Yes.
Right. Right. And I like what you said that you like black men, and that's that's the thing that I want. I like for especially sisters to travel, like and black men to travel. Like there are other black
Right.
people in this world, and I say for like Brazil. Brazil had 10 times more African slaves to come to Brazil than the U.S. itself, in
Wow.
North America itself.
Know
So
that.
there's black people all over the world that if you're not having your your way here, venture out, broaden your horizon. You have access to a passport. It's some people in other countries that they they have to either pay a lot of money, do a lot of paperwork, versus I know Canada is probably just as easy as the United States to get a passport. So
Yeah.
the world is broad and it's open, and take advantage of that passport because
Yeah. Yeah.
you know
Especially if you have a career that's going to be able to sustain you for even if
Right.
it's just for a few months, you know, get out and see what else life has to offer you. Because had you not left, that first move away from home, and that first move from Ontario, that first, you constantly stayed out of your comfort zone, and those
Yeah.
have become huge, pedestals for you to get to where you are now. And so the sky is the limit on where you can go because you're picking up those skills along the way to not attach to things but to experiences, because in the
Right.
end of the day, when all is said and done, those experiences are going to go with you, you know? Those
mhm.
things are not.
No,
So
they're
it's
not.
great that you at such a young age have embraced that mentality, and really are beginning to build the life that you'll have for yourself when you're done working. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. That was
It's
very well said. Thank you.
when you was talking about the list of things needed to get a visa. Hey, there's another way to get a visa too.
I don't know what you're going at right now, but
Hey, there's other ways to get them too, man. Some more things on that list, but this is good. We're over 7 minutes. Disha, I appreciate you coming on. This has been, man, this has been major. More than what I thought it would be. I knew it was going to be great, but you get a lot of great info as well
Absolutely.
that I'm going to do some homework on, and yeah, anything expat related, digital nomad, working abroad, work away, world pack,
yes.
that Black Sick as well, which
Black sit. Yes.
I saw they had like podcasts or something like that. So I'm always trying to merge my world with other people's world and see where I can, you know, work on things, strategize. But definitely. But if you are new, definitely like and subscribe this podcast. I'm gonna leave Disha's information as well on the description of this video, her Instagram, her YouTube. So we got to get this YouTube jumping for her because this could be another of income.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah.
Tiffany, any parting words?
My only parting words is the theme of this show is to show um, the opportunities that are available to you. If you have to switch careers, if it's just something, make your travels longer. If you have the opportunity to work remotely, um, and you have the opportunity to live in another country, to truly embrace the fact that you are another country. You don't have to stick to one city. Disha has just showed us that you can move around, you can discover what you like, what you don't like, you can stay with a family for a while to kind of get your bearings. But there's many options. You just have to be open to them, and be open and honest with what you want for your life, and kind of figure out how you can obtain that. Start doing some research on social media, whether it be a Facebook group or YouTube. Start reaching out to these creators like Dishan. Hey, I need to ask you some questions. Can I spend 5 or 10 minutes with you on a WhatsApp call, or whatever? But whatever you put your energy and time in is what going to enhance what you get out of it. So thank you, Disha, for coming on and really giving us a great perspective, especially for the ladies who are considering exiting the US or exiting Canada or wherever you are and moving to another country, and kind of what it takes and what it takes internally. We really appreciate that perspective. So thank you.
Yes. Cool. Well, Tiffany said it all. I have no more to
Cheers to
say.
that. Cheers
Yes.
to that. Being
So
open and honest. I think that's the theme for this year. Being open and honest and ready for new experiences. Yeah.
Yep. You only get one life, folks. You might as well chase it now. I mean, you don't have to chase it. You can create it. However, you got a blank canvas,
Yes.
and you can
Yeah.
create whatever you want for yourself. And you're definitely doing that, young lady. So kudos to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm glad I did it.
All right. Well, that's the end. And I appreciate you again, Disha. I will hit you up on the side, and I'll give you my WhatsApp as well, so we can
Perfect.
stay in communication. So, other than that, thank you so much, and we're
Thanks,
gone.
guys. Good night.
All right. Take care.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
All right. Bye.